Welcome to another exciting episode of Pete for Society. My guest today is the one, the only, Diane Cherico. Diane, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well, hello. I thank you for having me. I am a licensed massage therapist since 1999 and a medical massage practitioner. So I've been doing this work over 26 years. 3 years into this career, I was broken and I had to figure out what to do with my body. So I kept getting this flyer, work smarter, not harder, learn how to cure all these things. And so I took this class, and that was my first class in 2003. And that's why I'm here today, because active isolated stretching changed my life, my body, my career, and helped so many of my clients. So that's why I'm here. I got to tell everybody that there's a real solution for muscular pain.
Right, exactly, right. Yeah, me and Diane actually met at a big get together in October. So it's very exciting to have her here finally. I know when I met her originally, I was like, yeah, I'll get back to you. And then it was like, well, I'll get back to you eventually. And then we just started playing It's a Phone Tag. And then we were supposed to be here last week. But anyway, we're here now. So it's so great to
Exactly.
see you again. So what have you been up to since the last time we saw each other?
Helping more people and telling more people on radio stations and podcasts and spreading the word, because it's so important for people to know. I mean, especially people that are dealing with pain, and anxiety does cause pain. So that's what I've been doing, is spreading the word and getting out there on social media, telling everybody.
So you said podcasts. Any interesting ones you've done along the way? Anyone shout out you want to give to anybody?
Well, radio stations, I'm you put me on the spot. I don't have one that I can just shout out right now, no. But yeah, I've been doing several of them, so it's been wonderful. I really love doing this and telling more people. The first of the year, I opened up my email, and because of one of the podcasts I did, I had an order for my book and my DVD. Somebody wanted to start the year off right by ordering my book and my DVD by feeling better naturally.
So how did the book come about? It's an idea. Is it just something it's obviously something you thought of, but what was the original idea that made this book become possible? Like, that one moment where you're like, well, hey, you know what? I want to write a book. So what was that moment?
My clients kept asking me, "Can you write this down for me?" Because everybody in my office leaves with homework. Not one person leaves without homework. Because what I do is an hour, and it's good, don't get me wrong, but it'll last a couple of days. What you do at home every day is what really matters. So you have to take care of you, let's be honest. So every time I'd give homework, somebody would say, "Can you write this down? How do I do this? Can you?" So I kept saying, "You know what? I have 26 years of experience." And also, I worked with a man. I'm a life coach for a man who had severe OCD and anxiety disorder. And so I helped him overcome many of his fears and overcome the feeling that you get when that fire hits in your belly. And so I went over the breathing techniques. We studied The Secret. I studied many books like Deepak Chopra's Super Brain and Dr. Caroline Leaf, How to Switch On Your Brain. So I studied these books and I got really good information on how to take care of the body. So I said, you know what? I have it all in my brain. I have to write it. So I kept saying, I'm gonna. Well, in 2020, when everything shut down, I was very productive.
Hmm.
So that's what made me really sit down and really get to it, because it's a labor of love to write a book, my goodness. And then when I was doing pictures for it, because it's really a reference book. I
Hmm.
mean, you can sit down and read this book and get a lot of great information, learn how to calm yourself, learn how to get a more positive attitude, because you can if you say you can, or you can't if you say you can't. Either way, you're right, correct? So I wrote all these little things down in the book. But then for the stretching part of it, I said, I need pictures to show. So I
Yeah.
said, Mom, I said, "Mom, you're an advocate for me," because here she was in her 80s, and I said, "You're coming to the park with me." It's a self-done book. I don't have a lot, I don't have a lot of resources, so I did it myself. I went to the park, took the pictures, and my mom came with me, and she loved it. So she's in the book. She gives inspiration. She's in her 80s, and here she is stretching her little heart out.
Well, it's awesome though. And you mentioned you're a life coach too. So how long have you been a life coach for?
About 25 years because I met Dave when I was in massage school. He actually was one of the clients that came in, and he and I started talking, and it just kind of progressed.
Yeah.
So as our friendship progressed, our working together progressed, and then we got to a daily, where I got him out of the house and doing things and in life and enjoying life. That's part of why we're here. You're here to not just survive, but thrive.
Right, exactly. No, I get it. I know everybody's saying, listening to somebody that's like, why is a massage therapist here? And then you go, well, I did life coaching too. I said, that's it right there. That's why she's here, guys, because she does all of these things. On top of that, she's a life coach as well. Diane's got a lot of layers to her that y'all don't even know, man. But anyways, so Diane, let me ask you this though. What got you started life coaching? I mean, because you've been doing it for 25 years now. What was that moment where you started it? Was it just somebody you interact with and you're like, hey, listen, maybe I can do this too?
Well, when I was a teenager, I volunteered at a hospital. They called us candy strapers back then.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Yeah, my little pink uniform and my little pink hat. And so always knew I wanted to help people. After I volunteered, I always thought I wanted to be a nurse. But when I was leaving my abusive husband with my two kids, it wasn't feasible. There was, way too much schooling, way too much money. I just didn't have the resources again. And so there was, my sister told me about massage therapy. And so there was a mom and pop shop in my area, and so when I started going to school, I realized that muscular pain a lot of times comes from mental stress. And then when I met Dave, he definitely clarified that that is so true. Because when you have that anxiety attack or, you have a problem, you hold yourself tight. We have this natural reflex to hold. That is the worst thing that anybody can do because you stop your blood flow, you tighten your muscles, and once you start tightening your muscles, they continue to tighten unless you physically open them. And that's what active isolated stretch does. So when you're doing deep breathing, because one of my chapters, the first one is you can if you say you can. You first have to determine that you want help. Nobody can help you unless you decide I do want this. I don't want to live like this anymore. I want to better myself. I want to change my mind. And that's what it is too. In Dr. Caroline Leaf's How to Switch on Your Brain, I had an aha moment in that book when I was studying it that she said, some people do transcendental meditation. And that's when they come out of their body. I mean, God bless them. They're really, they're really determined and, and really good at that. But think about it. They can come out of their body, which means
Hmm.
that your body is your vessel. But who you are as a person, your soul, should determine what goes on in your brain. Your brain is part of your body. I mean, it's your programming, it's your computer. It's everything that you take in, that you've learned, that happened to you, that made you who you are right now is all programmed in here. You absolutely have the choice to change that programming. You just have to let your mind be in control of your brain instead of your brain being in control of your mind.
Yeah, really great point. So I agree though, because especially
Interesting, right?
Especially the part where you're like, if you don't want help, you can't help somebody that doesn't want help. And it applies to anything, even addictions like that too. That's the first thing they tell you is that, you can't help somebody that doesn't want the help. Like it's the same thing people that go to therapy, they're like, well, therapy doesn't work. So did you actually put the effort in or did you just say fuck it, you went and didn't care? And a lot of times
Ex
that's what people say. They're like, well, I just didn't want to talk about myself. Then what's the point of going? Why waste the time to go do these things if you're not
exactly.
gonna put the effort forth? I mean, like what more are you doing for yourself? They're doing nothing for you. And then given his situation too, especially with OCD is an interesting one because it's like I met a guy that had OCD once on the show. Since we had discussed things, I had a guy on the show though. It was interesting to watch him though, but he would like kind of get a little squirrely, but then I asked him a question like, "So your brothers and sisters message you like start moving things out of place on you?" And he's like, "Yeah," and he's like,
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
interesting though because we met a young lady named Amber. Her and I were discussing the stuff that's in your food. And a lot of
Oh,
people
yeah.
think that they'll realize your gut is actually the driving engine of your body if you think about it. Because
You
where does everything go
know.
into? Everything goes in here and it goes out from there. So think about it that way, which is an interesting perspective, because we were
Absolutely.
discussing about like all the additives and stuff they put in food these days and all that. And it's horrible. Like even the medicines these days, if you sit there and watch
Yeah.
these commercials to see like the side effects of shit that's
Oh
going on,
my god.
you know what I'm saying? You ever notice how they come in pairs? Like one goes in the other one, and then it's like, well,
Yes.
I've got
Oh
this
my
one, I got
god.
this magic cure for you, but I'm gonna add more symptoms to your shit. I'm like,
Exactly, exactly. Live the life you want, except that it could cause death, you know? It's like, what?
so
Actually, the 3rd chapter in my book is what you eat and drink, and
mhm,
that's in there. I said, "You know what? You should read the labels on your food. If you can't pronounce
bingo.
it, why are you putting in your body? And if it's in something that you have, research it. Look it up. See what it is. See what it's doing to you because it could mess up your brain, along with everything else, you know?
See, I was gonna ask you about that. What your thoughts are on the food that people put in, because like a lot of that stuff, we're putting all that crap in our system. It's like even if you think about like we're in a ever we want it now society. Like you think about it, why do you think McDonald's and everybody is so successful? Because they can provide that I want it now thing. And it's not to demonize it. I mean, you can still eat fast food. Just make better choices of what you're picking, versus everything else because you don't need all that extra crap in there. And like
No.
like Diane said, read the labels. Like I had done this one of these experimental diets one time where it was like 500 calories. Okay, so you literally had to read the labels of the stuff you're eating. Did you know that most of these things, like the calorie counts, are outrageous? For example, the grandma's cookies, those ones that you get those big old cookies. Okay, they look great. They taste great. But the calorie count, oh my Lord.
That's like
Holy
for a
shit.
full day.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you go based on the average person, say about 2,000 calories a day, you've already eliminated almost a third of them by eating two of those cookies. And it's
Exactly.
crazy because people don't read the labels and then they're just eating all this crap. And especially because I'm diabetic, so I have to really watch what I'm eating. So like
Sure.
sugars and things like that too. So, I'll have some stuff here and there, and stuff like that
Everything
too.
in
But
moderation.
yeah,
Everything in
exactly.
moderation.
Because sugar is actually more addictive than most things. And
Yeah.
it's hard because for me, like I crave it like a drug addict craves like a drug. Like I'm craving sugar. Like it gets that bad sometimes. And I'm just like, ooh. So I always try to find something to replace it, like maybe a fruit or something that gives that sweetness kind of edge off. Or like, if I I want chips or something, it's like I'll get something that gets that kind of crunch sensation, like nuts and different things like that, to try and fix that fixation I have. You know what I mean? And for me, it's like I don't have a choice because I'm diabetic. I've seen what it does. I lost my uncle to diabetes. Unfortunately, he passed away because his was really bad. But he was also type 1. I'm type 2, so like I still have a fighting chance. But not to say a lot of these people don't. But it's like with all the crap out there, it's so hard though because and then when you eat bad, it affects your mental health as well. This past year, I was like, from the time we met to the time now, I went to a really bad stage of depression for a little bit. Like people didn't realize how bad I struggled when I was doing the show. Like every time I ended the recording, I would stay in the same room. Even now I have a vitamin D deficiency. Like people don't realize like these things are real. Like, when you start experiencing these problems, like I didn't realize like why I had really bad joint pain and things like that too. And I realized that because I had no vitamin D in my system at all. Like I don't like going outside. Like I don't like people in general, but that's just me. Maybe it's because I work with the general public enough that I'm not fans of them, Diane. I don't like them and all that. They drive me crazy, but it's like the things I do
There's
notice.
good and bad in everything. There
It's
really is. I personally believe now I've been working with the public for many years, and I understand where you're coming from, but I believe most people are good, honestly.
Yeah.
The most people that I've met, and if they're not, then I just walk away. You
It's like
don't
I'm
have
just
to
done with
deal.
you.
You don't have to deal.
You sure is that okay? All right, I'll keep that in mind. Like Diane says, I don't have to deal with you and walk away. Like, who the hell's Diane?
Exactly. Yes. It's okay. You can.
Right,
See, you
right.
can if
So,
you say you can.
right. Well, that's so interesting. Like I said, though, like I was telling people, like they're probably in the first 4 minutes, like, what the hell is a massage therapist doing on a mental health podcast? Well, there it is. Because Diane, it's got more layers to it. Like I said, is there anything else you haven't told us you're up to these days? You doing anything else? You writing any new books?
Well, I actually am.
Oh,
I'm
see,
working on
see.
the next one. So yeah, because it's funny because I realized that I missed two stretches in my first book, and plus I'm learning all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? When you said you had joint pain and you said that you were dealing with depression. Now, what would you do for that typically?
Normally nothing. Now I've been going to the gym. I'm more active now. The vitamin D, I am taking a supplement for that, but I'm trying to make it an active measure to go outside in the sunlight more. Even though, I'm afraid I'm going to turn into, dust like a vampire, things like that. I'm trying to correctively get myself in a better mindset because I've been dealing with like a divorce and things like that too. I've been dealing with and all this other stuff. So now I'm at the stage where I've been doing a lot of reflecting on my past, and dealing with all that kind of stuff, working on my relationships going forward and things like that. So like instead of like sitting here making reasons up why I can't do something, I'm starting to be more proactive. Like, I'm gonna go to the gym. It's like, well, I'm gonna go. If I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go. Like if I'm not gonna sit here and pay for it not to go, because I know that's the business model for a lot of those is to get you to pay and never show up because they make their money either way. So
Exactly.
but I enjoy it though. The feeling I get, the dopamine hits I get, the
It's real.
stretching I get as well. Yeah,
It is real, and it really does help your body. Now, listen to your body because don't think that you could just go in there and do
I
what you
know.
want.
I
So,
know.
like the elliptical, 15 minutes, you do 10 minutes forward or 20 minutes, you do 10 minutes forward, 10 minutes back. Get that blood flowing, get, your body moving. It really is so helpful. And, just light weights, no weights outside your body ever. Don't ever do weights outside your body. I do not agree with that. Bicep curls because we want the weights because it gives us, bone mass and
Mm-hmm.
tricep curls. I'm all for that. And then you have a copy of my book. So then what I would suggest is on page 30, there's this stretch called the off the bed. And I think every human should do this one because what it does is I tell my clients you stretch off it before you get in it at night because when you stretch, people think they should stretch in the morning because you wake up stiff, you want to get going. However, I want to wake up and jump out of bed and feel good in the morning. So I stretch at night before I go to sleep because when we sleep is really important. So that's when your body heals. So if you stretch right before bedtime, you start the healing process. You're going to sleep better because you've made your body feel good. And with the off the bed, what you do is if you have a footboard, you have to go sideways on your bed, but your head is at the base of the bed,
Mm-hmm.
your shoulders are on, and just the top of your head is off. So, like the base of your skull, which is called the occipital ridge, fancy, right? The base of your skull is at the end of the bed, and then you massage the base of your skull. Like
Yeah.
you start where the vertebra goes up and you massage it out. What that does is it relieves all the tension that you've had for the day. It's all built up there. And so, like I said, unless you open that, it builds and builds and builds and builds. And that's where problems happen. That's where you get your aches and pains and bursitis and joint pains and everything else because muscles attach to tendons or ligaments, depending on where they are, and they attach to bone. So if your muscles get way too tight, they pull on that attachment. That's how all these injuries happen. And unfortunately, doctors are busy with medications and do too many other things. They have no clue what muscles do. They know of them. They know of course, what they perform, but they have no clue how to fix them. So that's why doing active isolated stretching, which is only hold the stretch for 3 seconds. We're all taught to take a stretch and hold it and hold it and hold it. What that does is it takes this tight muscle and, okay, I gave you all I got. Okay, good. And then you're done. Whereas if you hold it, shh, release, release. I've seen range of motion open before my eyes, and people walk out feeling, go, oh my God, I haven't been able to move my neck like that. So it's breathing, which is also important for you. Okay. Breathing is the most important. A lot of times, how many times are you find yourself holding your breath? So instead, you take that deep breath in, hold it, bring in all that goodness that you have, all your blessings, all the good stuff around you, and release what does not serve you and drop your head, your neck, shoulders,
Yep. You
right?
know, it's funny you say that because there's a guy from Australia that was teaching the same techniques, Tim. I can't think of what his last name is, but it's basically essentially what it is you're doing breath work basically, and it's real
Yes.
powerful. Are
It's
you
real.
big in Eastern medicine? I would assume you're more of a holistic person versus, Western medicine these days.
100%. 100%. Because I've seen what, Western medicine can do. I mean, I know that the techniques that I use have been around for years. Active isolated stretching has been in our country for over 70 years. But unless you're fortunate enough to know somebody who's practiced it, has 95 hours of training in it, you don't know it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here today to let everybody know. Now, with that off the bed, when you have your head, then you put your arms up over your head. Now, that's also gonna open up your pec muscles, your
Mhm.
lungs, and release all the stuff that's not serving you, all the bullshit that happened, all the stuff that's not real, and you just release it. And then when you get into bed, take that deep breath again because it is so important to remember the good in your life. I mean, yeah, we all have stuff going on. Even the world is, BS. There's so much shit going on. Let's be
Mhm.
honest.
Mhm.
However, what's important is your world. You're not being self-centered. When you take care of you and your soul and your body, you're on, I don't know, whatever you believe in, either it's God
Exactly.
or the universe, right?
Yeah,
Whatever
no,
you
I got you on that one, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're honoring that person, that spirit when you take care of you. It's so important.
Yeah, I think people forget that to put themselves first. That's the hardest part because everyone's always told, well, you're selfish, this, that. But boundaries are
Mhm.
essential these days. You gotta set your boundaries and stick to your boundaries, and it's hard enough to do. But I'm more holistic now versus modern medicine because I'm just like, I just all the side effects are what worry me for a lot of stuff. So, like I do energy healing all the time. So I have energy healing sessions I do.
Beautiful.
So I'm very energy sensitive since we last seen each other, I've actually been working on it a lot more. I've gotten it really down to a good point where I can tell a lot of times, a lot of people, what people are feeling ahead of time and things like that too. And it's like almost like a sixth sense. And it's very interesting because I'm an empath as well. So I tend to feel a lot of things people say. So I have to be careful what subjects I get into. For whatever reason, narcissist is a topic that always is mentally draining for me. Just because I'm a survivor of narcissist abuse,
Oh, I
so,
get it.
and things like that too. So it's like that flashback, and when you mentioned meditation, it was interesting because actually episode 2 to this of season 2, I actually was talking to a guy. That's what we were discussing. And then it turned from an interview to an actual session between the two of us. Like you start hearing me we start having this conversation where he's like, "Well, if you talk to your inner self, talk to little Pete and talk to him because like my fear of abandonment likes to trigger a lot of times, and it's because I go back to that 10-year-old self where my mom had basically abandoned me at 10, but at the time I didn't realize what was going on. I just knew the moment happened, things like that. I didn't know the ripple effect of what was going on from there. But now I've been working on like 10 minutes a day. I sit down and I talk to my inner self and have a conversation and tell them, it's okay, everything's right, you're fine. All the things I need to do. And people look at me weird
Bless.
when I start telling them that. I was like, well, it helps though. It really does, because like when you get to that
Absolutely.
moment, when you're triggered in that moment, you're not going back to the exact moment. You're going to the feelings because the body remembers all that. So your body remembers all that. So like I went through a lot of shit the last few months, but it's been like, because now I'm not in a place where I have to constantly be on defense. Now I feel those feelings. I feel, and things like that as well. I don't get as sick as often as I used to because I'm not as stressed as I used to be. I use different techniques. Breathing, breath work helps a lot with my anxiety, things like that as well. I've gotten it almost to the sense where like my anxiety will trigger when something's not right. And I know something's not right. I've almost gotten it down to the point where I can almost pinpoint exactly what it is. I know something's wrong. It's like a sixth sense. Like my heart will start racing. Like one morning I woke up, I'm literally out of dead of a sleep, and I was just like, my heart started racing. I knew something wasn't right. Lo and behold, that later that night, when I was at work, my ex shows up, and I'm like, "Yep, that was what it was. There it is. There's the disturbance in the force."
Yes, 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 yes. But I'm glad that you're learning that you're
Hmm.
not gonna let anybody else determine what goes on in your world, because
Exactly.
you're not responsible for anybody's actions. You're only responsible for your reaction,
Exactly.
which is you are most important, and you're not being self-centered or a narcissist. A narcissist it doesn't even realize. I feel sorry for people like that, I'll be honest, even though
Hmm.
they're terrible. I feel for them because they're never going to be happy. They're never going to be happy. So like if somebody puts you down or somebody's, at you, I've learned where I'm like, gosh, I feel sorry for you. Like I'm not going to let you bother me because I'm centered. I'm okay. Like
Yeah.
I got this, I'm a good person. I help people. I know I'm all right, but I feel sorry for you. So, like whether you say it out loud or to yourself, and then when you walk away, take that breath. And all
Hmm.
that stress that they've given you, you don't need that. Let that, there's that poop sign. You let that shit go.
Love it. Yes, I love it.
Right.
Yes.
I have a shirt that says that. Let that shit go. You don't want
Yeah.
that.
No, I feel like meditation has taught me to look at things from a different sense of,
100%.
you know what I
Meditation
mean?
is
Like you
so
just kind of
important.
like you have a more relaxed focus thing. And you're just like, well, I can choose to engage this anger and this argument you want to have, or I could just walk away and go do my own thing and not let it affect me. So I do
And
choose
you
that way.
win. And you win because they want to get your up. They want to get your gander up. They want a reaction because then they're doing what they like to do. And when
Exactly.
you don't give them that satisfaction, you win.
Yeah.
And if somebody puts you down, can you repeat that again? What did you just say? Make them say it again, and then once they say it again, oh well, okay, maybe you
Right.
know. It's their problem, not yours.
Yeah. No, I agree, agree. It's hard though because you have to think now the internet now is there as well. With everything that goes on these days, a lot of criticism comes from there too. Like a lot of people start telling their stories about things on the internet, and it's like you think it's safe, but then at the same time you're criticized. So that's the same thing as well. Just stop listening to the negative
Yes.
comments. I mean, even though a lot of people say that's what they focus on, only is that one negative thing that's said to them. They could say 1,000 different positive things. Like Bert Kreischer, the comedian, he likes to say that all the time. He's talking about it one time he was on his podcast. He was like, "Yeah," he's like, "I see all the positive things you say. That's great, but the one thing I'm staring at is that one negative comment." He like hyper fixates on it. And I'm just like, but don't fixate on it. Why?
No.
You're letting them win when
Ex
you're essentially saying something to them.
exactly. Yes. No. You look at that and go, "Oh, poor person. Your life sucks so bad you have to put mine down? Okay, you're jealous of me. Okay. All right. Well, that's you."
Right, exactly. So, what's the second book about though? I mean, you mentioned it to us, we didn't tell us about it. So, what do we got a working title for this thing? Do we know when this is
No,
coming
not
out?
yet. Not yet, not yet. It's in the works and I'm thinking about it. It is a lot of work. But yeah, I'm gonna put more of the stuff that I've been learning, the Tai Chi exercises, I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm loving them. It's so freeing for the body
Mm-hmm.
because it's just movements, light movements, and as long as your body keeps moving, the worst thing that you can do is sit. I mean, it is the new smoking. If you find yourself sitting more than an hour, Get up, move around, get your arms moving, jump up and down, get the blood flowing. And that's what I want to get people doing more is movement is key to your key.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah,
It really is. The more you move, the better your body feels, the better your brain feels, the more good things you're going to do in a day that, I mean, it's just so much better for you. That's
yeah,
what it is
yeah.
movement is key.
I agree. You know, like I said, I do the gym. I go for walks now. It's good for my blood sugar. It's good for your thought process as well. You know, I try to take
Yes.
better care of myself. I am noticing I am losing a dramatic amount of weight as I'm going. You know, so like I have clothes that don't even fit me. It's crazy. Like there's shorts I
God
haven't
bless.
worn in like 10 years. I've had holding on to. Is I'm like one day I'll eventually fit back in them. I don't fit in them anymore. They're just too big to wear. You know, yeah. I've lost a lot. Like so. I've been
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've done a lot since the last time we seen each other. Like I said, I've been
Good.
on a mission to try and put myself in a better state of mind, which I have been. I've been doing positive affirmations every day and things like that too.
Wonderful. That works.
Like I said, I've been working on my energy sensitivity too, just like kind of honing on my skills and that a little bit as well. So I've been kind of studying that. I've been studying human design as well. That's a very
Wonderful.
interesting thing. I found out that I'm a man generator, which essentially means that, that's why explains why I like take on like many projects at once because I do have a side project I'm currently recording as well on top of this show called Voice of the Voiceless. So it's an all audio podcast. But this one, you could see everything. With this one, I actually have a co host that was actually somebody on the show and things like that too. So, we were recording that as well, and and all this other
Yes.
kind of stuff. I got invited back to the same panel essentially too. I'm waiting for the information for that. So I got invited to come back for a second time where we originally
Wonderful.
met, and then I got invited to another one in March called Potapalooza. I have too many things going on for myself now that I don't have time to be depressed or things and not let it to beat me.
Yes.
Like there's some days I have it, but it's like I know when that feeling comes, it's like I have different ways to get out of it in a better way. My oldest daughter is actually graduating high school this year, so I haven't talked to her in years. So I'm gonna go see her in May. So there's a
Wonderful.
lot of things to look forward that are coming up. I am in a relationship with somebody now. Me and her, we're actually gonna we met through TikTok. Scary enough, we met through TikTok. We met through a couple friends. We've known each other for a little bit, and we
Okay.
decided to have a discussion. And we were talking. So me and her are gonna meet. Actually, she's coming out in May to visit with me. So we're gonna hang out in May. So
Well, so a lot of things to look forward to.
yeah, and I've had to learn a lot of things too because Danny has a condition called borderline personality disorder.
Okay.
So like I have to learn a lot. Like I'm like you, I'm learning as much as I can about how to be a better person for her. So it's a lot of learning I have to do, but it's not like like oh God, I got to learn it. It's because I'm doing it because it's better for her, and at the same time, it's actually helps me relook at the way I approach people in general. Because if you think
Yeah.
about it, like I can't approach her the same way I can approach everybody else. So I've been applying that to my everyday life. Like, maybe I'll try and see how this works with everybody because if I have to be very careful of things they say because some stuff they take, people with borderline personality take it very serious, like, so they don't understand tone of voice either. So, like, it's interesting because sometimes you have to explain certain situations or explain why you're feeling certain things. So the conversations tend to get pretty interesting at times, like, so I had to keep a lot of things in check, which is good because at the same time, it's like if I apply it to everything, then I'm not having to worry about just, oh, well, I got to turn it on just for her. I could turn it on just constant state and but it helps me look at things from a different aspect of like what they look at it from, and all that kind of
Exactly.
stuff. So it gets interesting at times, but so far it hasn't been too bad. Like I said, since I met her, we and her, I've learned a lot of things from her too. She teaches me a lot of things. I'm always constantly learning new things. I'm reading new books, things like that as well. So I've been doing a lot more book reading, and then this show is now officially booking all the way into almost May now. We're almost hitting May. We're about 2 days, like the end of April actually is the last 2 dates I have open currently in this show. So now we're almost into May, and, God, that's like, what is that, 3 to 4 people a day on those 2 days? 'Cause I bulk record it now, so versus doing it live interviews I used to do. So, it's been crazy. This thing's been taking off. It's still going.
Wonderful. I
So,
see people need this.
yeah. Oh, yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
I like it too because, like, I like to open their eyes to things that, like, like, just because traditional therapy doesn't work for people, there's other people like yourself that are doing things that, we can cover the areas, holistic healing and things like that that people are into. We can highlight, "Hey, well, listen, Diane's got a great book," and I could refer to it like, "Hey, listen, there's a great book you should check out. She's got some great techniques in there. You should go
Yep.
check it out, see what you think," and things like that too. And you've been out there podcasting too. Like, I hear you out there hustling, which is really
Yes.
cool to hear, though. I like that, though. That's
Yes.
really awesome, though. It had to be a lot
Exactly.
of fun experiences, yeah?
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it because people are really amazed that there is a real solution to help their bodies feel better naturally. And it takes about 10 minutes a day. That's all it does. If you're willing to put in just a little bit for yourself, which I'm really glad you are. So
Thank you
I'm
so
proud
much.
of you. God bless. And I'm really happy with all the good things happening to you. That's wonderful. And it's one day at a time.
Mhm.
That's it. Just deal with today and honor yourself today. And like the monks that are walking for peace, God bless them. I don't know if anybody's heard of them yet, but if you haven't, checked them out. And that's how they're telling everybody to wake up and say, today is my peaceful day. Amen. you know you're not going to let the outside world get you. You are a beautiful soul as you are, and accept yourself as you are.
Mhm.
And today is your peaceful day. Breathe, learn, grow, and try not to just dwell in problems because that
Exactly.
doesn't help. Doesn't help anything.
Exactly. Well, Diane, we're at the fun part of the show. I don't know if you've ever watched one of my episodes. So this season, I've been asking people a very important question. Okay. So my
Yes.
question to you is that, Diane, if your mental health had a song, what would you say that song would be?
To be honest, it would have to be for King and Country, I Choose Joy,
Yeah.
because that's what I tell myself. Things get me down. Life is not always good. I have stuff happen. I lost my mom last November.
Oh, I'm so
And
sorry.
and thank you. But, somebody asked me if, the depression was coming, sinking in, and I said, "No," because she doesn't want that.
Exactly.
She doesn't want me to feel like that. And I choose music
Mm-hmm.
that lifts me up, gets me going, Andy Grammer, Magic. If you've never heard that one, put that on and then just start moving. It's an amazing song, so all uplifting music.
Anybody that's listening to this, you could just hear the energy level coming off this woman. It's great, man. It's awesome. It's awesome. Diane was like this too when we first met too, the first time. She was very, very the same level of energy was great. So Diane, but thank you so much for coming in though. I have one last one for you, okay? So now the
Okay.
reason and this is a big one, okay? So if you could break the stigma about mental health. Now this is what I say when I say this. I mean, anything that you hear out there that you just think people need to stop thinking that's real. What would you say that one thing would be? And I know you could use your mom's death too, as this we're thinking about it, because grief is one of those things too, because they remember they automatically thought you were going to be depressed, and you're like, no, mom wouldn't want that.
No. As a matter of fact, one day I was thinking about how she went and she was laying on the ground for hours, and I was thinking about the distraughtness she was in, and I heard, "Are you kidding me? With all the good memories we have, you're gonna think no way." It's like, you're right. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. But the thing that I would say about mental health, honestly, with working with my friend Dave, is you can if you say you can. So it's up to you. You have to flip the switch. You have to be the one to decide saying, I'm not going to let this get me. I'm not, I'm going to be stronger than this. I'm addicted to sugar myself. I love sweets at night. I'm a nibbler, but I go into that cabinet and I say no, and I walk away. And you know what? Not for nothing, but once I walk away, I'm like, good for you. You didn't have to get that snack, and then I'm fine. So I say, yes, you can. You can flip the switch, and that's what I taught Dave. Is the decision is yours, and a lot of times they're like, no, you don't understand. It's the imbalance in my brain and everything. Yes, I do get that. I do understand that. There are neurons and cells and all that firing up, and I know about the anatomy and physiology. However, your mind, like I was telling you before, is your spirit. And your spirit should win over your computer, which is your brain. make that choice to say, yes, I can.
I absolutely love it, Diane. Thank you so much again for coming. It was so great seeing you again.
Well,
Let me know the timing on the book, by the way, because I want to invite you to come back so we can talk about the book, your new one, when you get ready to do it. So we definitely, maybe we'll have some more interesting stories, and maybe it'll be
yeah,
more podcasts you've been on. Yo, they're killing it. I love it, though. Like I
I
said, I
love
love
it.
it. So
Thank you. Thank you. And I wish you all the best. God bless you. And thank you
thank you
for your
so
good
much.
work.
Thank you so much. Diane, before we start signing off, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you. What's the best place to reach out to you if they want to check out the book or any place to reach out to you in general?
The name of my business, which is what I do, is Get the Knots Out.
I love that name.
GETTHEKNOTSOUT.com. And then you'll find everything about me and all that I've learned and all the stuff I do. And I'll do virtual one-on-one with people. If you're having an area that you just can't feel better with, reach out to me and we can do a video chat and, I'll help you.
Do you have any socials you want to plug? Are you on TikTok,
I'm
Instagram, any of
on
those places?
I'm on Facebook, Get the
Okay.
Knots Out, and I'm also on Instagram, Get
Okay.
underscore underscore knots underscore out.
There you go, guys. You know where to find her. Go check her out. Like I
Yeah,
said,
and there's videos on there for with some stretching that I did. In 2020, I tried to get everybody out and moving, and I did some stretching videos, so
there you
they're on
go.
there. And then look for the off the bed one. If you go on YouTube and you
Hmm.
put in Diane Cherico off the bed, you can find that stretch that I recommended, and it takes like 3 to 5 minutes. Highly recommend it. It's good for every human being.
That's awesome. Diane, can you find your book on Amazon and everything else too?
You can, Diane Cherico, stretch your pain away in 10 minutes a day.
There you go,
So,
guys.
yep, stretch your pain away in 10 minutes a day. I promise.
Well, once again, Diane, thanks so much for coming back. I appreciate you being here. Like I said, we will talk again when you figure out the next date for the next book. We'll definitely have her come back and we can talk more about that one. Guys, go check out our socials everywhere else. And with that being said, we're going to wrap up this episode of Pete First Anxiety. Guys, you know where to find me? I'm Pete First Anxiety. I'm on Spotify all the way down to Pandora Radio. I'm on X all the way down to TikTok. And as always say, it costs nothing, absolutely nothing to be kind to somebody. One kind act you could do could save someone's life, or hell, you can make their day. I'm Pete First Anxiety signing off saying, don't ask how your day is today. Say, hey, how's your mental health?